Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today. Build Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith invites you to our 4th annual virtual Mothers with Sons seminar from Monday, May 8th to Thursday, May 11th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each night on Facebook and YouTube. This year's theme is How Mothers Can Reach Sons. Special guests include Anita J. Cummings, Brady Robinson, Anastasia Smith, and Latricia Taylor. These ladies will open their hearts and be transparent as they share how you can reach your sons. This event will heighten your awareness, transform your thinking, and motivate you to reach out to assist your sons and other young men. Visit www.
Hi.
Good evening. Good evening. Hey, sister.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. And you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good.
I'm ready
deal.
for another session of our coffee chat.
Absolutely. And so we are building this time, right?
That's right. Yes, we're going to be on building a strong building.
All
And
right.
you know, 2023 is all about reach. And our theme for April is reaching out for awareness. So what better point of awareness than our book, Build Your Best Life? Because Build Your Best Life is about understanding the power of your life, your actions, your credibility in order to build your best life. And the process starts with a strong foundation, which is having the ability to love yourself. But before I go into it, what do you think about all this, Carol?
Well, listen, I want to backtrack and talk about the book a little bit, okay? Because like you said, this to me, I call this a little bit of GPS for those who want to help young men become the best that they can be. And your book, you know, is that practical tool. I said like a GPS that will help young men. At the same time, you assist them in becoming the best person God created them to be. And that's really what we want for all of our, for all of us, is to become the very best. But, you just said it helps them to understand the power of their actions, their credibility, and as they go through life. And those things are like universal truth that you talked about. But what I love about the book, Deborah, it has those practical things there. But also, I just love it because you speak the truth. And these truth that you're talking to them about, as you stated, will go from generation to generation. So you build your best life for somebody for the age group that you're talking about, that you're targeting, but also how that will impact the next generation and the next generation. So I think it is for me, it helps them be able to dismantle things, but also it's your heart. That's the big difference. It is you share with them the practicality, but also it is how you share, and that is your passion, and that is your heart. And I think that separates your book from any other book. And then all the other things that you put in place to help young men become, the best persons that they can be. So I just love the 3. I love that it is a GPS for them and anyone else, and parents as well, to help guide their children or guide their young men. But yes, I said it's 3 destinations on the GPS that you can continue to talk to them about. It's their actions, their credibility, and to build their best life. That's what I think.
Awesome. Yes. And so we're going to tell you how to build towards having a successful life. But again, it starts with that foundation, and that foundation is you.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are the first thing and the most important thing in this process. You have to know how to love yourself and put yourself first and foremost. And I talk about that in Your Life, chapter 9 of the book. So if you don't have the book, you need to get it. But some of the things that are essential is, first of all, you are one of a kind. Just think about that, one of a kind. There's no other like you. So that means that you're unique, you're special. And I want you to really think about that, because if you go into a shop that sells ceramics or art or anything like that, if you find something that's unique and unusual, one of a kind, what does that mean? That means it's very, very expensive. That's a great asset to have. So think about yourself. If you're unique, one of a kind, you are a great asset. So if you have been having problems loving yourself, hey, think about that. You are an asset, right, Carol?
Absolutely. Listen, I always say this, Coach Deborah. I said, so every day, we got a friend that believes in affirming every morning. And so I always say, sometimes you just better ask yourself, have you given yourself a hug today? Because you're the best person that you can love is to love yourself. And it's not selfish to do that. We, like you say, that's the basic foundation. And we can't take care of anything or anyone else if we don't have some self-love and we don't care about ourselves. So yes, I totally agree. You gotta put yourself first and begin to care and love you. Because if you don't, some of these things we're talking about are going to be so, not going to be important. And I love what you said too. You're special. Tell yourself that, how special you, as Anita say, work your neck and just say how special you are. You're one of a kind. That's what I'm talking about. One of a kind. He threw away the mold when he made each one of us. We're individually and wonderfully made. And you have to embrace that.
That's right. So you have to love yourself, respect yourself, and don't allow generational curses and social issues, other obstacles to stop you from being the best that you can be. Don't keep things inside. That's just like it gets worse and worse and worse. It's like if you scratch yourself and it's really, really deep and you try to figure out, do I need a stitch or I don't know, but you don't do anything. You don't put anything on it. And then you look at it and it's like, oh my goodness, it's turning colors because it's getting worse and worse and worse because you didn't do anything about it. But when you have issues, say you were raped or you had incest in your family, or you were verbally abused, physically abused, and that pain is inside you. You were homeless and you couldn't tell your classmates, and it's just inside you and it's just eating and eating away. that can keep you from loving yourself. So you have to get that out. So think about that as well. Watch the people that are around you.
Wow.
You can have the greatest thoughts. You can be brilliant. But if you have the wrong people around you, they can pull you down. And some people get joy out of that.
They
You know,
do.
watch me. I'm gonna push her buttons today. She come in here always smiling, talking about Jesus. Wait till I get finished with her. They will do it.
Yeah.
But you have to have faith and believe. And then on page 86 of the book, I want to read a scripture to you that I have here. And it says, we call Abraham father, not because he got God's attention by living like a saint, but because God made something out of Abraham when he was a nobody. Isn't that what we've always read in scripture? God saying to Abraham, I set you up as a father of many peoples. Abraham was first named father and then became a father because he dared to trust God to do what only God could do. Raise the dead to life with the word, make something out of nothing when everything was hopeless. Abraham believed anyway, deciding to live not on the basis of what he saw he couldn't do, but on what God said he would do. And so it was made father of a multitude of peoples. God said to him, you're going to have a big family, Abraham. And remember, they were childless.
That's right.
God said, and if he said it, that settles it. So you have to take that key. So make yourself first and foremost. Take care of your physical and your mental health. Drink water. Eat properly. Get the proper rest. And love you. You know, self-love gives you that strong foundation. It's like constructing a building. If that foundation is not 100, then that building can shift, can lean, or even fall. You don't want that to happen to you. So, first of all, love yourself. That's that strong foundation. And then we're going to give you 5 building materials to put on top of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, sis, you talked about Abraham, and like you were saying that you just said we have to have faith and we have to believe. Like Abraham it was no way it looked like when God told him that he was going to be the father. He was fatherless. He was childless. But he believed, and that's exactly what we have to do. Faith means that we can't see it, but we want to continue to believe it until it manifests itself, because what God says will happen. So we have to trust him to know that it will happen and be assured that it will. But I think we got some great topics to build on, sis, and that self-love, like you said, is the foundation. And if we can't have a good foundation in believing who we are, believing what it say, God, I always say, God just didn't make no junk, and that means that we've got to love ourselves. He ain't made no junk. I may not be looking my very best every day, but he did not make junk. And so he intended for us to live the best life that he has for us. And so we can't look at the naysayers. We can't look at those things that want to pull you down. You got to know what you believe and stand firmly on that.
Right. So then our first building materials that associates.
Yes. Deborah, I'm just going to go to your book on page 80. And I love what you said. There are different type of relationships. We have to take that into consideration. And each of them are important in their respective places. But you talked about family, friends, associate, co-workers, professional, and significant others. But, your quote here from Ralph Waldo Emerson says, the only way to have a friend is to be one. And I think we're going to talk about building associates. And so when I think about now I don't know, I could be wrong, but I kind of put a difference between what's associates and what's a friend. But in your book, you said that the only way to have a friend is to be a friend. And I totally agree with that. But there are people that are just going to be an associate in our life, right? And I thought about the law of attraction. One of the most important decisions you will make is the one who you decide to spend time with. Associates. And guess what? The associates can make us, we can act like them, or we can influence them to act like us, but we have to be very, very careful. And guess what? We can imitate their behaviors. If we stay around them a long time, we can start imitating their behaviors unconsciously. Now, what's the saying says, birds of a feather do flock together,
That's right.
and that's very true. But the scripture says, I used to tell my son this all the time. 1 Corinthians, I use the Passion Translation. It says, so stop fooling yourself. It says evil, and other translations says bad company. Bad company, companions will corrupt good morals and good character. That's association. It will reflect. And we want to make sure you are associating with people who have your values, have some of the traits that you have, and you want to make sure that you're a good person to be associated with. And so attitudes are contagious. They're like side effects. Hanging out with low value people, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to become. So you have to set the tone and set the pace of the kind of people you want to. So who you spend time with the most is who you will become. It's important that you surround yourself with positive people. Them positive people that's going to help build up that foundation, help you lay good bricks. That's what you want. You don't want you, and they can be friends, like you were saying. They can be friends, different types of relationships that you can have. But they can be friends, they can be family members, they can be co-workers, they can be church members. They can be a lot of different people, but you want people with the same vibes, people on the same mindset, going somewhere where they say, if you don't fly up here with the eagles, you're going to be down here with the chickens or whatever. And you don't want to do that. You want to be able to know that they've got the same mindsets, the beliefs that will become your own. And as humans, we are alike, we want to make sure that we surround ourselves with the best who will help you or help us go to that next level in our life. We're all climbing, trying to get better. And so we want to make sure that we have those kind of people in our life. And I have a quote here from Mark Ambrose. It says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. As Coach tell us all the time, we are the best 10 or 15 people. That's who we're going to be when we're basing our relationships on those people. So I think associates and friends both together, they will determine, their attitudes can determine our altitudes. And so we want to make sure that we're choosing, because every day we get up to make a choice. And I also like to say that sometimes along the pathway of life, and as you're building your best life, it may be some associates and some friends that you may have to eliminate for a while or put them somewhere else, because if they're not helping you build your best life, they're not helping you become the best person you can be, the person God called you to be, then if they're not helping, sis, they are hindering you. And we got to be able to make that decision if we're going to let them help us or hinder us along the way.
That's awesome. Yes, those associates, that first building material, that is essential. And whatever relationship it is, it takes time to get to know people. So you don't just meet somebody and say, oh, that's my best friend. No, you got to take time to get to know them, because what people show you is not always what it is. They might be putting on a whole facade or whatever. I was looking at what was it, 911 last night, and this lady comes to her neighbor's house. Oh, I knew someone just moved in and I wanted to get to know you. And she got some muffins for her and everything, but she, she's looking all around the house. Oh, you didn't change much in here. Well, long story short, she was someone that was a thief, and she would steal people's identities. So she just wanted to get in the house to see what she could get. And she came back and she had some fake checks or whatever she had mailed in. So she had to try to find them because the house was empty. And so she had her fake stuff mailed there so she could get it. And so she wasn't really trying to be friendly. So you have to be careful. People come at you in all kinds of ways. So be careful about who you allow within your circle.
Perpetrators, huh?
Yes.
Perpetrators, yes, indeed. Be careful.
Yeah. So if you just joined us, we are talking about building your best life today and how you can build a great building as you have a successful life. So we started out with a strong foundation, this coffee chat with Deborah and Carol. And so we started out with that foundation, and that's loving yourself. And then Carol has just given us the first building material, which was associates, and she's getting ready to give us that second one, discipline.
Yes. Discipline and self-discipline or self-discipline, either one. And I wrote a definition for that. It says it's the ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires, or the expression of them in one's behavior. Especially, don't we see what kind of discipline we have when we are in a difficult situation? We really see how how we act or how we respond. But also that self-discipline is really, how are you going to be persisting and continuing to move? If building your best life, we're talking about building materials, and if building your best life requires that good foundation, self-love, associates, and now self-discipline. So what are you going to do to continue to build your best life, persisting until you reach the goal that you want? Because every day, and Deborah, you talk about that all the time in your book, about goals and having goals. And so you have to make sure that every day you are working to build your best life, but also you got some goals in mind. Another quote: you can never conquer the mountain if you can only conquer yourself. You can only conquer the mountain if we only are able to conquer ourselves. That's discipline, and that's the self-discipline. But I think it takes consistency. I think it takes that self-discipline, and I think it takes us being intentional about self-discipline and controlling our emotions and controlling our choices, because everything that looks good to you may not be good for you. So we have to make sure that we are in control. And that is really when we can look at being consistent, consistently being in control, taking responsibility, being intentional, then we are really able to see how our intentions and being consistent can help us reach the goals and help us continue to build the life that we're trying to have. And so if you have self-discipline, you're able to put off those short-term pleasures, because sometimes them two Snickers, Deborah, they're not always good pleasure at short time, but they're not always good for my long-term goals. So, sometimes that's that discipline, and that's that being intentional and recognizing some of those things that we know that work against us. And so we have to just make sure that know that we're going to have some discomfort. It's going to be times that that everybody else is going to a party, but you got homework to do.
That's right.
Everybody else is going to meet with their friends, but you got a job that you have to go to. So you have to make a decision. And that's why it's so important to be, to have that self-discipline. But it also is different from self-motivation or willpower. See, motivation and willpower contributes to it. But as persistency and the ability to follow through on your intentions and hard work. So I can have the willpower, I can be motivated, but I have to make sure that I am persistently knowing what my goals are, knowing what I want to accomplish, knowing, the next level that I want to, that we want to achieve, or the next thing we want to achieve. We have to have some self-control and some self-discipline. And like I say, willpower is one thing, motivation is another, but we have to want to be intentional. And it's not easy. It's not always easy to choose to do the right things all the time. And the last thing I'm going to say on that, the Bible talks about that self-control. He said that is one of the fruit of the Spirit that's mentioned in Galatians 5:22 and 23. So it says that, that it is the ability to control our thoughts, emotions, and actions. So it's not just one thing. It's the ability to control all of those things. Because you even talk about, Deborah, one mistake can lead to a life of detriment or things that you can't recover from. So you want to make sure you're always thinking, and you're thinking with discipline and self-control. And so lastly, it says, I do not, in 1 Corinthians, it says, so I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. So we're not preaching it to everybody. We're preaching to ourselves, because it works for each one of us. So that's my spiel on that discipline. And like I said, we have to choose a goal. You have to find the motivation that you need. And you talk about all the time, identify the obstacles, because the obstacles will come. And I always say this, Deborah, what are you going to have in place? What have you thought about when the obstacle comes? You may not know exactly what it's going to look like, but trust me, they will come. So what do you have in place to make sure that you are in control and you have that self-discipline to go past that obstacle and choose the next right thing?
Oh, that's right. That's deep. Woo. Put it in the comments. Woo, what will you do? It is so important to be self-disciplined, because as you grow up and you learn right from wrong, right, you're going to be out there on your own. Your parents are going to say, okay, they got it. Go with it. And so there's nobody going to come in there and wake you up. There's no one that's going to come and tell you, you got to do your homework. You got to do that project. Oh, you got to go to work. You got to do a good job at work. You have to have the self-discipline to do those things that are going to make you successful in life. You have got to want it for yourself and be disciplined to get it done. So Carol has given you some excellent tips on how to get it done. So I hope you were listening. If not, you can listen to this again, but make sure that you share, because this is some great tips as you build your best life here. So I'm going to go on to building material number 3. And I know I talk about it all the time. People are like, well, why you always got to say that? And it's goals. Well, why you always got to talk about goals? Because believe it or not, there are a lot of people that don't have goals. So if you don't have goals, what are you doing? Are you just spinning around doing the same thing every day, in one day, out the next, just the same thing? You're not trying to improve. You're not trying to get better. You're not trying to go anyplace. Huh? Hello.
What's wrong with that?
Goals are essential. We should all have goals. If it's nothing more than, I want to have a beautiful garden outside. I want to own my own home one day. I want to make sure I visit every state in the United States. I want to go visit all the islands. You got to have some type goals. I want to lose weight. I want to gain weight. You might be too small. What is it that you wake up saying, hey, I want to learn how to speak Spanish? What is it? You got to have some type goals. Goals are essential. That gives you some get up and go. What's your purpose? What's your passion? And God has a purpose for all of us. So if you don't know your purpose, you need to take some quiet time and listen for him to tell you or make it clear what your purpose is. Your purpose and your goals should be all tied in together. But sometimes it takes, what are you passionate about? When you wake up in the morning and you're getting ready for work, what's that first thing that pops in your mind that puts a smile on your face?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want to reach all the nations. I want this book and this platform to be all over the world. I want young men to know that they can overcome obstacles and build their best life. That's what makes me smile every day. And it's like, how can I get there? And I'm trying. I am really trying. So that's what you need to do. And if you are following the purpose that God has for you, guess what? He is going to ensure that you have the skills in order to get it done. It's not like, well, I want to do something, but I don't have the skills. If it's your passion and the purpose that God has for you, you can do it. You can do it. So can't throw it out the window. Never kick it out the door. Hey, you can do it. But you got to have a goal. You got to make it plain. Write it down. Tell somebody else. Because as if I say, oh, you know what? I'm going to buy me a Bentley next year, but I don't tell anybody. Well, if I don't get the Bentley, nobody don't know. So it wasn't really a goal. Was I really working after it? But if it's a goal, you don't have no problem telling people. Write it down. Put it so
write it down.
That's why people have vision boards. Some people are visual, but if you want to do something, you got to keep it in front of you. You got to do it consistently. And then, your goals, when I say write them down, I don't just mean write down, okay, one day I want to have a PhD. No, you got to make it smart goals. Your goals have to be specific. They have to be measurable. They have to be attainable. They have to be realistic, and they have to be time-based. So what do I mean by all of that? And I don't want to keep, be on that a long time, but specific. So if, I wouldn't just say, I want to own a Bentley. Okay. I want to own a Bentley by the year 2035. And I know how I'm going to get there. So I got to, that's specific. I want to get it by 2035. But is it, how I'm going to measure that? Okay, I gotta save some money. I gotta make more money than I am today. Well, how am I gonna get that money? So I gotta know. It's not just something to do. And then it has to be attainable. Can I do it? Yes, I can. But I gotta do those things and put those steps down. How I'm going to get there. Is it realistic? Okay, 2035. This is 2023. Yeah, I can do it. Didn't say I was going to purchase it. I might want to lease it, but I can get it done. It's realistic. And then it's time-based because I said 2035. And just for the record, Deborah, that Bentley hadn't even crossed my mind. That's just an example. I didn't try to get no Bentley.
That is too funny.
I want to show you whatever it is that you do want, you can get it, but you gotta have that goal and you gotta put the steps down to get it. And if you ever heard Coach Ricardo Miller, he tells you got to chip away. So you don't just go out there and get yourself in all this debt or go rob a bank to get it done. You make some realistic steps of how you can do it and you work towards. That's what a goal is. Something that you can be proud of. When your child says, oh, how do we afford all this stuff? I work hard. I save money. I invest. You can look at them in their face and be proud to tell them how they live like they live. So that's what you want to do. And then you learn from others. We don't know everything. I know I don't know everything, but I am a lifelong learner. I'm always trying to learn something, learn a new word, do crossword puzzles, because those clues, sometimes you're like, what? You can learn. So, learn, ask people questions. I learned stuff from Miss Carol. Carol learned stuff from me. I learned from Coach Ricardo. I learned from my husband. Hey, I even learned from my grandkids.
Absolutely.
They had to show me the new way you do multiplication. Like, huh? So you can learn. And those
Right. Right.
goals should be important to you. Like, in the back of my book, and I know in the back of the Effective Living book, there are a bucket list. What's on your bucket
Exactly.
list? Those are goals. Not
Mm-hmm.
just writing something down to be writing it down. Those are goals, things that you want to do. So, and the last one thing I want to say, and if you have the book, pages 30 through 34, if not, you need to get the book. Believe me, you need to get the book. It's
Yep.
never stop going after your
Never.
goals.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do those things that will help you to get where you're going. You learn from others, like I said before. You keep striving from A to B. What is it that I need to do? And if
Right.
you get to a point and you might have a goal and you have no idea how to get to it, but somebody does.
Somebody
You need
does.
to ask questions. There's someone assigned to assist us, right, Carol?
That's right. Somebody is assigned to help you at all times, but you got to be looking for them too.
That's right.
Got to be looking and willing to get to receive that help. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Deborah, that is some awesome information. I love how you continue to reiterate the importance and the significance of goal setting. And now, like you said, now that Bentley, like you said, that was just an example. I was like, well, girl, if you want the Bentley, then put those SMART goals in place so you can get the Bentley. But I love that because you know our goals do have to be realistic, and you talk about what are you passionate about and what is your purpose. But in order to have a goal, like you said, if you just get up and you don't have no way, nothing you plan, you just living life aimlessly. You're just waiting around and waiting to see what's going to happen rather than you take some responsibility to try to put things in place, or like you say, have a vision, put it, like you say, a vision board, right? The Bible say write it down and make it plain so that person that's running can even read it. But you want to make it plain enough for you to be able to continue to read it and to even like Coach told us, what you do today. So can you check them off? Got that checklist going. But all of that should be things that's going to lead you toward the goal that you want to have. And I love that the goals can be, you can set a goal and realize that right now this one is not achievable for me. You can adjust those goals as you go along, but you want to make sure that you are trying to accomplish those things as you every day as you get up. You want to have something purposefully that you're going to do, something that you're aiming toward, because living a life that's haphazard and aimless, no purpose, I don't even think you live in your life if you're living like that. That's personally what I think.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the great building blocks, building materials here. I pray that they're listening, and I pray that they're taking something from it because, like you said, and for your book, I mean, just even that something to me. I'm a hands-on person. I need to be able to go to the book and highlight it and stuff like that. But like you were saying, be a lifelong learner because there are places and things that we may not ever accomplish or achieve, but I can receive it through a book. I can receive it through a friend who's giving me information. So we have to be open. And I don't know about you, Deborah, but I think you have to be open and teachable, in order to get everything that that God intends for us to have.
That's right. But I'm going to move on to the fourth building block. But before I do so, when Carol was saying about making adjustments, something popped into my head. And, that's so important to know that when you have a goal, you don't give up when those obstacles pop up. Because as I was working on my bachelor's degree, I already had my AA. I got it at the community college, and I had been accepted at the University of Florida in Gainesville. And I had finished one semester, had got my classes for the second semester, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So of course I stopped because I had to go through treatments and all of that, and that was something that was uncertain. I didn't know how I was going to feel, anything like that. So I had to ask for medical withdrawal and all of that. But I could have just said, okay, well, I got sick, so that's the goal. I'm just going to throw out the window. No, I went through my treatment. I got better. 7 years free.
Wow, praise God. Mm-hmm.
And so I went ahead, and not only have I, since that time, got my bachelor's degree, I've even gone ahead and got my master's degree. So you don't ever stop. You make those adjustments and you keep it moving. That's important.
And I celebrate my sister for your perseverance. We have to celebrate one another. And that is huge right there. That's a huge testimony that, obstacles get in our way, but you did what you needed to do, but you never gave up on your goal. And that is to be applauded. I'm telling you, because that's huge. And that is a personal testimony that you can share with others, that you don't give up. You may have to stop. You may have to pause, but you don't have to give up, because we can continue. As long as God give us breath, there's that opportunity to continue to reach that goal that you had already set for yourself. Proud of you, my girl.
Thank you. And she's not just saying it. She was there for me, cheering me on.
You can do it. Absolutely.
Yep. So for our fourth building material, this is a key one: mindset. What we think. Woo.
What you think?
What we think. Mindset, they say it's a set of beliefs that shape how you interpret your sense of the world and everything around you. What you think, how you feel, and how you behave. What you believe. So if you believe negative things, guess what? Negative things are going to happen. But if you believe positive things, then positive things are going to happen. And I don't even know how many years it's been now, but I can think of Joel Osteen's mom. She was diagnosed with cancer probably 35 years ago. Yeah. It was told her she had 6 months to live. She is still here because she refused to give up. She said God had something for her to do. So she had a positive mindset. So you want to have a positive mindset, and I'm going to make it real simple for you. You got to have positive. You got to think positive, be positive, do positive, and then you got to have positive people around you.
Ooh, Lord.
The same way. Because if you're here and you're positive and you're smiling, and every time this person comes, they got something negative to say. They don't like what you got on. They don't like how you wear your hair. They don't like where you go to school. They don't like nothing. And you just, oh. So you begin to feel negative too. Well, I don't know how I'm going to wear my hair. I don't know if I'm going to get dreads. I don't know if I'm going to get a low cut. I just don't know. So people talk you out of your destiny, because if they can, they'll do it. But you have to have a positive mindset. And like I say, I'm going to keep it real simple. Listen to this. If you think you can't, you won't. If people say you can't, you don't. If you determine you will never eat it, like it, or marry them, you won't. If they say you won't make it, you won't try. If you don't believe it to the grave, you will take it when you die.
Wow. That is real simple and to the point, Deborah.
Yep. All those things are what? Negative mindset, and you don't want to be there. So make sure that you and all of those around you are being positive, thinking positive. So you want to smile. You want to create those positive affirmations. You want to have faith. Forsaking all, I take him. Believe that you can. Try. Make it happen. Make it happen. Yeah. I'm going to get up and I'm going to try. And when I get up in the morning, I say, Lord, what wonderful things are we going to make happen today? And then you got to read chapter 3 of this book. I was going to say, I probably got it upside down. Chapter 3 of this book. Dream the impossible dream. Just read that chapter. That's chapter 3. It starts on page 22. You got to get the book. But you can do what you put your mind to, but you got to think positive, be positive, and live positive.
Right.
Remember that.
Wow.
I don't know why.
Think positive to be positive.
Yep. Yep.
You have to put that one in the chat, Deborah, about what you quoted. I'm telling you, because if we don't think positive, that'd be the same thing you take to the grave. You take that negative mindset to the grave. Right? So that was really good. I was trying to write it down, but I didn't get it all written down. So
all right. I'll put it in.
Put it in the chat so we can go back and look at that, because that's worth re-looking at. But Deborah, as you were doing that, you talked about the mindset, and like you were just saying, it's two kinds of mindsets. One that's positive, one that's negative, or one that's a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And we have to decide. The growth mindset is like you said, I'm going to keep doing, I'm going to keep getting up, asking every day what I can do. I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to keep reading. I'm not going to let, people pull me down. I believe I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength. But we have to get up with the mindset, the mind of Christ, and the mindset that you can get it done. Because like you said, if you think you can't, you won't. So I put the rest of that in the chat, Deborah, but that's so good, because it's the Bible tell us what, so as a man thinketh, or woman, or girl, or boy, then that's what we're going to become. We become the things that we think. So you got to think big, like you say, dream big. In chapter 3, you got to dream big. You got to be able to see, that's what vision is, isn't it? To see farther down the road than where you are today. So I love that. If you can't see it, I believe you just can't achieve it, because you got to be able to see it.
That's right.
But that's still that mindset. That's that mindset. You got to be able to see it. So our last building block, Deborah, is finance. And I was intending to go back to your page, and you written things about finances and how important it is. Let me see if I can swing back to that. I love that part. But you even said it's crucial to be a good steward over your finances and seek sound advice and from a reliable source. And you talked about paying your bills on time. You talked about having an emergency fund, how we handle our finances and loans and filing bankruptcy. You just got it all in here. And then, you said in Luke 14:28, it says, is there anyone here who planning to build a new house that doesn't first sit down and figure the cost of the cost, so you will know if you can complete it? And, I think it comes down to having financial literacy. We have to, be, like you say, you got to read, and you got to have some literacy about your finances. We just can't take our finances for granted. And it says financial literacy is having the knowledge, skill, and confidence to make responsible financial decisions. Just kind of what you said in your book. But you talked about goal setting, and we got to have some goals for our finances. And we've got to make sure that we are doing things like putting a budget in place. That's having a goal, being specific. And I love what John Maxwell, and you quote him all the time, he said, a budget. He said a budget is telling your money where to go rather than you wondering where it went. Tell your money, so you gotta, and this is my thing, I always say, you gotta give your words, you gotta give your actions, you gotta give in your money. It needs an assignment. Where is it assigned to go? What are my words assigned to do? So you gotta have an assignment for your money, and you gotta have a budget, and you gotta have things put away for emergency funds. You know, you got to know what your net income is and what your gross is, you know, what's fixed in your expenses, what got to come out of your budget. Because, you know, Uncle Sam going to get his money. You know, he don't care what he going to get here. He going to get it in a few minutes from a lot of people on the 15th, right?
Okay.
Those that so he's going to get his money. But that's what you talked about too, having emergency funds. You know, put back a little bit of money and have a savings. And then, you know, your savings got to be different than and separate from your emergency fund. Those two different types of things that we need to have. I enjoyed looking at this and studying this a little bit more. But you got to have a savings, and it's in every successful budget includes part of your income being put towards savings that remain untouched and allow it to grow. Now, let me tell on myself. Years ago, you know, we teachers have a credit union. I'm sure everybody got one. But Garrett, sister, I was so bad that I put my $25, and that was a large amount back then when I started putting it in there. But I always, now that I sit back and reflect, I say, girl, you were going to get your $25 out of the credit union before the ink had dried on them taking it out of your money. So I had it set up to come out of my account, but I was like, okay, I need it. So, but that's what I mean. That money is not there for you to go before the ink is dried on them receiving it. You're getting the money. So you got to have a savings. You got to plan for emergency, because those emergency things will happen. And I know we're talking to young people and you're like, but we have to start now. Teaching, becoming, you know, having this financial literacy that sometimes I think we missed out on years ago that we didn't know, but that's not now. It's so much available for us. And this is what I think. You teach a kid, if he got a piggy bank, you start teaching him, put some your excess pennies, put them in, what do we call them? A penny bank. Put those pennies in there. They will grow. But that's still another way of teaching them how the importance of saving and not spending every dime. And I'm just going to say this, you know, and you got to have a flexible expense account. You know, some things that's going to be flexible in our life. You know, you got to have times you're going to go out with your friends and you need some little extra money, but those are kind of flexible and they're not messing with your emergency or your savings account. And I wrote this, Deborah, if you have a deficit in your budget, that means you need to readjust, recalculate, you know, and increase either your income, get another job. Coach is real good about another income, or either we need to look at how we're spending, because people used to say this, boy, at the end of the month, I got more months than I got money. That's a problem. You know, that means somewhere we're not budgeting. And then my other thing is, you don't, you know, people say I robbed Peter and paid Paul, but some people will buy what they want and beg for what they need. And neither one of those are good values to have, because you know what? Poverty is not a virtue. God don't want us in poverty. He wants us to live our best life, but it comes with having a goal, having a plan, sticking to it. Sacrifices have to be made. And just even very early on, even when we don't have money, we got to make large purchases for that Bentley that we may need some good credit to buy. Credit is so important, because credit is what we can use and pay back when we don't have the money. But it's important that, to me, it's important that we start out very early knowing your credit score. You know, if you start, because I don't know about you, when I got out of college, girl, they were sending me credit cards going and coming, and I abused that thing, and I had to pay later for that when you couldn't get credit. And so know what your credit score is when you start, you know, buying things on credit or looking, because all of those things add up. So one, I wrote that your you know, your credit range from 670 to 739 is considered good. 580 to 699 is fair. 740 to 799 is very good. And if you can get an 800 plus, you, as the kids say, you balling then in the credit. You balling big time with an 800, but that's what you want to do. And then lastly, sis, one thing that we have to remember is what affect our credit scores. Good, yes, you need to pay your bills on time. You said that's your payment history that's going against you. And so, and it says that 35% of that is based upon how they look at your credit, is your payment history. How you paying people back? It's just like saying, this is a contract. How good is your word at paying people back? Then they look at how much you owe. I never thought about that, but how much you owe, how much is already allocated to allotted to people that you owe. That affects your credit. Then your credit history, how long and how they look at it over a long period of time. And then if you got several different types of loan. I know they don't have mortgages and things like that, but all of those mortgages, that Bentley will affect your credit.
Yes, it will.
Will affect your credit score. So those kind of things, but also last, when when people have you, hey, you want to fill this credit card out? You want to get this one? It's no interest on this. Those inquiries go against your credit report. You wouldn't even think that they would use that, but that goes against. So every time you fill out a credit application, inquiry, that's going against your credit report. So have a budget. That should be our goal at this point. Have a budget. Know where your money is going. Don't just leave it out there with no assignment. Let that money be assigned to something specific. And I want to say this, always pay yourself. Pay your tithes and pay yourself. If you pay your tithes, a lot of these things that we're talking about, you'll have the influence of God on your side, and you will have him teaching you and showing you, because he said, put him first. So pay your tithes, pay yourself. And then, of course, you want to make sure you're saving. You're looking at those flexible things. You're looking at those emergency funds. Money needs an assignment, y'all. And we just can't live like we can't live without goals. We can't live without having money and having it to have an assignment, because it's kind of like what we need for our future. People always say, our money ain't that important. Well, try living without it, Try living without it. We all need money. But we want to make sure that we are, in your book, you said, make sure we're being good stewards of God's money, buying excessively, going to, sometimes you got to stop going to the fast food place to be able to save something. So it's those little bitty habits, sis, like you say, being a lifelong learner, but we also have to learn that it's those little bitty habits that we build over a period of time. Little changes can equal to big changes in the future. So if I ain't got but 10 cents to save, start somewhere saving something, because it's that mindset that we have to have, that we don't need to spend every dime we got. Our credit is not important. We don't need a budget. All of those things are very important, because like I said, if you don't have no money, you might can finance that Bentley if you got good credit, but you got to take care of that credit.
That's right. And I just want to say a couple things on this topic. One, especially young people, please listen to me. You want this car. Now, your parents have given you these used cars, hand-me-downs, but now you want a new car. You got a little job, you want a new car. So you go to the dealership. Now, remember Ms. Kara said about that credit score, but you go to the dealership and this is the car you want. So you done show them what you want. So they're going to get you in it. So when they first tell you, oh, they denied your application, walk away. Just walk away. Because guess what? Because you said you wanted it, they will get you in it. Now, you may have to pay 35% interest, but they'll get you in it. So if they tell you that first time it was declined, walk away.
That's good. Walk away.
You won't pay double or triple for that car. Just walk away and wait till you get your credit in a better place. And I can tell you a lot of stuff, but I ain't gonna go into that today. We're gonna talk about finance another day. And then the second thing I want to tell you, because I've heard a lot of young people say this.
Okay.
When you people tell you need to save You need to invest in your 401k. And you was like, oh no, I have my security, my social security when I retire. Social
Oh,
security
Lord.
may be gone out the window. That 401k, oh, I can't afford it. You better invest in that 401k because most
That's good.
employers are matching the first 3% or 6%. So that means if you save 3, they're going to give you another 3%. And that money is going to be invested and it's going to grow and grow and grow. And you need that. So don't turn that money down. That's free money you giving away because you say you don't need it. Yes, you will need it.
You need it.
You can't use it. So find some way to invest. And so find that Starbucks, they cost $5 or $6 tall.
Yes.
Get your nails done every 2 weeks. Get them done every every 3 weeks. Stretch it out. But you'll find some things to save more money. But really, I'm serious about that. Your 401ks, you need to invest in those.
That is so good.
So we
401.
thank you. Yes, and we thank you, and we hope that you got everything out of these 5 building materials. And remember that strong foundation is your self-love. You got to love yourself. That's that foundation. You need that first and foremost. Then you need associations, that self-discipline, your goals, positive mindset, and being a strong steward of your finances. So you need it. So if you don't have this book, get it so you can get on top of it now.
Yes. Now is better than later. It really is.
So Carol, please, as we get ready to close out, tell them what you're doing and where they can find you.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Deborah. Yes, I am on Facebook when I'm not being hacked. But anyway, I had to fix that the other day. Yes. But I'm on Facebook with Power Words with Carol Crockett. And I do believe, just like we're talking about building materials, I believe our words help build up our lives. And so we have to be very careful of the words that we speak. So you can find me there. You can find me on the third Monday night, which is the third Monday night after I meet with Miss Deborah on the second Thursday each week. But you can find me having a conversation with our coach, Coach Ricardo Miller, and that is at 7 p.m. Central Time. And so it is conversation with Carol Crockett with Coach Ricardo Miller. And then every third quarter, is that correct, Deborah? Am I saying it right?
Every quarter.
Every quarter. I don't know why third stay in my mind, but every quarter I'm here with my sister with Chucks for Pearls and Earls, and 2 of our other sisters join us each time, sharing different things about not only the Earls, but we also want the Pearls to get to be a part of the things that we're sharing. And then lastly, here with you each Thursday, second Thursday of the month, having a little coffee and chatting about building our best life, or to build your best life. Thank you, Miss Deborah. I so appreciate you.
Thank you. I love you, love you, love you.
Love you more.
Thank you all for tuning in on this beautiful Thursday, because you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us on Coffee Chat.
Yes, for the coffee chat.
So make sure that you like and share. If you need to go back over it to pick up some pointers, but please share. We want our young people to get this information because it is vital for their success. So please do that. Like, and share. Please join us this Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Saturday Morning Live. And it's going to be the Dynamic 10. Excuse me, the Dynamic 10. So you got to tune in, find out what's going on with that Dynamic 10 now.
Right. All right.
Yes, and please join me on, check out my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org, www.buildyourbestlife.org. You can read the blog that comes out each Monday. Check out the calendar of events. As well, you can visit my store and you can find the services that I offer, which is coaching, consultations, speaking, webinar speaking, and you can get a copy of this book that we've been talking about today, Build Your Best Life. You can get your autographed copy, get it quickly. I put it in the mail the same day you order it. If you prefer the Kindle version, you can go to Amazon.com and get your Kindle version. But you need to get this. This is a great asset. I know it's graduation time. This will make a great gift, you know, because it's something that's going to last forever. Not only is the book something that will last, but the words within it can sustain you for a lifetime. So please check it out. And I will be on Effective Living Monday Night Conversation with Coach Ricardo Miller on the 4th Monday nights at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So we thank you for joining us today. I love to have my coffee chat with my sis.
Yes. Look so forward to it every month. I do.
And this is the kind of friendship, camaraderie, love that you get when you invest in those associations. Yes, this is my bestie, one of my besties. And I seen her. We didn't know each other when we saw each other, and that was what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 years ago,
about 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago.
So when I see her, I'm gonna hug her to death.
I can't wait. Yes, I'm excited for our friendship and so grateful for it, like you said. And like you said, associates, friendship, they can, we might have just known each other in the beginning, but I believe God made us sisters and friends. So yes, I absolutely love from Texas to Jacksonville, Florida. How about that? that. So his love transcends all the miles and whatever. So we look so forward to just how God just connects us together. And so I'm grateful to be a part of Build Your Best Life, and Deborah, what God is doing with this platform through you. And so just stay encouraging, girl. Keep rocking the platform. That's all I can say, because you're doing an excellent job. Well done, my sister. Well done.
Thank you. I'm trying. So I'll look for you, everybody, on Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, as you go along your busy day, you may encounter a young man that has lost his way. Don't shake your head. Don't steady your pace. Reach out. Give the young man a helping hand. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. See you, sis.
Bye. See you later. Love you.